Just a quickie, according to David Starkey, a renowned historian that's recently been cancelled, we haven't had a change in government since 1997, and I think he's right. If you look at how things have gone since the Tony Blair era, Tony Blair did something when he was in power that no other leader had done, and that is to change the civil service. So the really important ones, the powerful ones, are all Blairites, which is why it's hard for a Conservative government to get anything done. Not that we've had one since Margaret Thatcher topped her clogs. The thing is, if you've not had a change in government, then this red and blue, this facade of choice isn't real, is it? And this is why the next election coming up is going to be so important that you understand that. Personally, I recommend any single Tory who's a member of the Conservative Party to dump them and leave the party. Stop your contributions. Show them up for what they are. Let them be the one that hits the headlines with Tory membership down to 3. Which will just be the ones you don't want to know about. Do you get my drift? But when you look at this, we haven't had a change of government since 97. Look what happened after Tony Blair. There was a coalition. And then there was David Cameron, who openly admitted how proud he was to be the heir to Blair. And he introduced the Big Society. The Big Society was a lefty measure. It was socialism drip-fed into us by a Tory government. It didn't work, obviously. It was bound to fail because nobody voted for a Tory party to introduce socialism. So he wasn't very popular, and the only thing that kept him going was really Nigel Farage pushing him forward for a referendum on the EU. If you want to know how the country thinks, it wants to be independent because it voted to leave the European Union, which, as you know, is a socialist stroke communist setup. The packaging's very good. Oh yes, that's right, yeah, e-Hicks card, free healthcare when you're abroad, swapping students about, great travel, but that's only to get you in. Once you're in, and it's not very good. Germany can vouch for that because they're economically crippled, and France is just the same. The other countries, we don't even talk about them economically because they've got nothing to offer. Unfortunately, Greece is skint, Spain's skint, Italy's skint, they're all bloody skint. There's only Austria got any money. So the European Union is a failed enterprise of butter mountains and milk churns piling up and ridiculous legislation and dodgy dealings as far as I can see, where people who are married to presidents get contracts worth billions. Funny that. Anyway, that's me just slagging off the EU. But back to Britain. Britain hasn't had a proper Tory leader, a Conservative-minded leader since Margaret Thatcher. It's as simple as that. Major was brought in to get the Maastricht Treaty signed, which dragged us further into the EU. And Cameron, fake Tory as far as I'm concerned. And what happened after him? Oh, that's right, we voted, or should I say the members voted for Andrea Leadsom, who was, of course, a Brexiteer. But she said something dodgy, allegedly, that upset the crowd so much that they asked her to step aside and let Theresa May take the lead. Theresa May was a Remainer. Theresa May was a really dangerous woman. She's done far more damage than run through a bloody cornfield. She was the one, believe it or not, that introduced net zero into law. Other countries want to get to net zero and say that they'll give it a go. They'll try. But oh no, we've got it in law. That's it, set in stone. So when we're blaming Ed Miliband with his ukulele, playing some bollocks near a wind farm, it's not really him. He's just there. He's had the facility laid in front of him. He hasn't even had to create any laws to do it. All he needs to do is just exercise his right to get on with it. Theresa gave him that. Not only that, it was Theresa May who enforced the fines for electric vehicle manufacturers if they didn't produce enough electric vehicles. Yet again, Ed can use that as the Environment Secretary, but it wasn't him that created the law. It was Theresa May. Even more astoundingly, it was Theresa May who created the non-crime hate incidents. That was Theresa again. It was nothing to do with Starmer. Starmer just picks it up from where they let go. These are Tories we're talking about. These are Tories. Nobody should be a member of the Tory party because you haven't got conservatism. They are not conservative. Suella Braverman's husband's left the Tory party. He's currently campaigning for reform. He's joined reform. Now, I would think if I was a Tory MP, I'd sit in my seat, keep my gob shut, and wait till a bit nearer an election and then come out as a reform supporter. because that's the only place you're going to get any conservatism. It was in recent times that Michael Gove went round in a Cabinet Office meeting with excerpts from Tony Blair's memoirs saying, we should all read this is how you govern. Now, he's another Tory, isn't he? Allegedly, supposedly. Can you see how it's done? Can you see how the dupers? So Tony Blair doesn't need to worry about anything he believes in not getting done, does he? Because everybody's there to put it in place. And it was quite interesting to see Alistair Campbell's meltdown with Nigel Farage. He's still moaning about Brexit. I mean, how greedy are you, Alistair? We didn't even get Brexit, we got Brino. We're out legally, but we've not really been able to experience any of the benefits that we should have had from Brexit. And guess why? Because you must have missed that bit. The country locked down just 6 to 8 weeks later. We Brexited on New Year's Eve in 2019. And by March 2020, the whole country was locked down. The whole economy came to a stop. The government spent like lottery winners and bought PPE and other duff things. Track and trace. Millionaires were created. Billionaires doubled their wealth. And our country and small businesses were crippled. I think you'll find that as a bigger hit on the economy than anything Brexit could have done. We still haven't got our fishing back. They're now crippling our farmers. What more do you want, you greedy socialist pig?